Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. My name is Dianne Fago and I am an art journaler and mixed media artist, and here on my channel I share with you my art journaling process with doing collage work and junk journaling and just mixed media projects. And I am getting ready to start the next page in my collage journal here. I have been working through the last 4 pages in this journal and sharing that whole process here with you on my channel, and I'm getting ready to start the next page out of the 4 pages that I have to work on. This one is actually the 4th page in that section, and I've got everything ready for it to go, so I'm really excited to get started with it. And then I just have the last 2 pages and this is finished. So I'm not going to talk a lot. The voice is going still recovering from being sick for quite a while, so I'm not going to talk a lot. Thank you so much for being here. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. I would love to have you here with me as a subscriber, and be sure to give me a thumbs up. And I'm gonna just go ahead and move you over and get started working on this page. I'm so excited to be doing this, you guys. So yesterday I finished this page right here, and this is actually page 3 of the 4 pages that I'm working on. And today I am going to start on page 4, which is this one, and then I'll do page 1 and 2. So I don't know why I'm doing it out of, well, I kind of have a reason for doing it out of this order, but then again, this one just kind of started coming together as I was processing the video for yesterday. I ended up kind of going through some things and looking at some stuff, and ended up, well, I was actually thinking about waiting to work on the next page in this for some silly reason, which makes no sense at all. Here I am finally coming out of a creative dry spell, and I'm already trying to put some limitations on things, which I'm not quite sure I understand that, but I finished this page yesterday, and I am going to go ahead and start working on the next page in this journal. So I've got 4 pages left in this journal, and all of them are kind of blending together, so I've been working on them this whole time kind of as a group. For sure, the first 2 pages totally flow from one page to the other. This page is the 3rd page, which, as far as the words that I'm putting on it, I'm using song lyrics, and the song lyrics are on this page are a continuation of the song lyrics on the page that's on the other side. And so then the 4th page is just kind of there right now. I don't have anything picked out for it as far as words or anything like that. It's just been kind of coming together on its own. And yesterday I was working on just editing the video for this other page and working on some other things. I went through and cut out some more of these ladies from that catalog to put in this journal here. So I'm starting to get quite a stack, and I just went through and, you know, clipped out the ones that I want. Now I've got to go through and actually cut them all out, but I've got quite a few of those. And as I was working on them bit by bit, I just kind of started looking through things that I've got around here. I have little bins on my desk that have just bits and pieces of things cut out, and I had placed this out again, and I was looking at it, and I'm pretty sure that I mentioned this in the previous video when I was working on the other page, that, well, actually I know I did, because I showed you a floral, that peony, that I thought about maybe putting on here. And as I was looking through that same book, I came across this one here, and I really liked it, and so I decided to go ahead and cut it out just to see if it would work on this here. And I think what I like about it is with the way that the leaves are at the bottom, it just kind of gives it more of a grounding base for these flowers. I'm not sure what it is, but I like this, and it's just kind of more muted and calming and quiet. And after all of the busyness on the pages before that, I just think this is going to be just kind of a nice place to just stop and rest. So I went ahead and cut this out, and I think it's going to work nicely here. There's this stem here that is actually part of the image where there's no flower, and so I thought, well, I want something there, and even just to round it out more as far as the images that are on here. So I went through my little bin here that I have of flowers. This one is all flowers, and I had, lo and behold, a white rose that was already cut out. And so I think, even though it's not exactly the same, this is drawn and this is actually a real flower. I don't care, but I think it might look nice tucked in here amongst these leaves. And then I also thought about adding a watch face. I love adding watch faces onto my pages. This is for sure another one of the, I guess, symbols that I use a lot in my collages. Watch faces and butterfly wings, of course, butterfly wings, and the crowns that I like to add made from rings and things like that. So I thought that adding a watch face might be a nice little touch on this little flower, on this flower a little bit, something like this. And then I was still kind of looking at stuff, and this kind of went off and on throughout the evening, just me kind of looking at things and seeing if there was anything that would work on it. And I have another bin that has jewelry pieces in it. So jewelry that's cut out from magazines. This one's all pretty much just like rings and maybe earrings, but I've got all sorts of different pieces of jewelry in this one. And I came across this, so I went ahead and cut it out because I was like, well, it's purple, it matches what's been going on, you know, on the pages before. So I went ahead and cut it out, and I think this might be kind of neat to have it just weaving through and around some of this stuff. This is going to be really fun to all glue together. So it's like, what am I doing? Why am I? It's like, just let me just add something else to make this even more of a crazy, like, layered, just grouping of all sorts of different things. But I just thought it was kind of neat the way that I can run this around through there. So I think this is what I'm going to do. Something along these lines. By the time I get it all glued down, it's not going to look exactly like this for sure. But just something like this. So that's where I'm going. That's where this one's going. As I was looking at this last night, I'm going to alter this image because it's got the tall one on the inside and the shorter one on the outside, and I would prefer if that was the other way around. So I am going to, and actually this is already about ready to probably break off. It's this paper, this is from an older book, and so the paper is a lot more fragile. But I think what I'm going to do is since this is already wanting to break off right there, I'm going to take this one and just swap places. So I will put the long side on this side and the short side on that side, and that will just round out this image better with having the long on this side and the shorter on the inside. So that might be the first thing that I do. I also need to trim this image. I know that it is too long, and I know that it is not wide enough, so I need to find something to put along the edge here. Sometimes I just do washi tape, like I did. I know there's an example in here because I've done washi tape along the edge a couple times because it's just easier just to add washi tape. This here I added just a strip from a magazine because this was not wide enough. I've had to do that often. Did that here as well. Let's see, I know I've got one in here recently with that. I used washi tape. Let's see if I can find it. Here's some washi tape where I just added washi tape in there just to, you know, because the image was not wide enough to go across. That happens quite a bit in this journal, where it's just not wide enough, and so I actually have, this is washi tape here, so I actually have a little basket over here on my work area where I keep strips of paper, and just for this reason. So this is strips of paper that have been cut off from images for other reasons, and I keep them, and when I need them I just do things like that and see if it works. So that is just an easy way for me to once again use what I have and just add that little bit of something. Sometimes it's really muted and, you know, doesn't look like much different, and other times it could be a big difference like it is with this right here. So I don't know if there's anything in here. This actually would maybe kind of work. I might just leave that out because it might work. I might just use it since that's what I grabbed. So excuse me. But, you know, this is part of the calendar page. So just anything like this can go here just to make the page wide enough for what I need. So it's got text on it, so that wouldn't work. I'm going to leave. I might leave that out. We'll see. I don't know. It's a little bit brighter than what I was thinking, but I'll set that there. That's a just in case. That's a maybe. So, okay, the first thing that I need to do before I do anything else is to trim this, because I don't want to start looking at things and putting things together and having all of this big grouping of pieces be bigger than what it's going to be sitting on. So that is what we're going to do first. Journal here so that we can measure the page. And this page is going right here. So there, see, there's almost an inch there that is going to be needing to be covered up. This is actually not long enough. It's just a bit too short. Right here at the bottom. Just a little bit. So I could put that there, or I could put it here on the inside. Which on the inside it's not, I don't feel like it's as noticeable being there on the inside as it is on the outside. Since this curves so much, you really can't hardly even see it unless you lift it up. I might just do that. Which that actually might look nice because on this page, and I will be able to see, we will be able to see what's on this page. There is purple flowers and stuff. So I might just use that. I can find a little strip of something to put on that bottom bit where it's not long enough. So I'm going to keep all the image on the top, and I need to cut off the bottom. I need to anyway because there's words down there. This came from a Bella Grace magazine. And I just do this really kind of, I'm sure I could do this in a better way, but I don't mind it going over the top a little bit. I can trim it later. And I don't mind it being a little bit too long because that gives me a little bit of wiggle room whenever I'm gluing this down. Because sometimes it can be sometimes it's a little difficult to place this image down, this base image. I'm just going to use that as my guide. Since this is Bella Grace, these magazine pages from Bella Grace, they're nice sturdy paper, so they are a whole lot easier to glue down in the end than a thinner magazine type paper. The thinner the paper, the more tedious and difficult it is to get it laid down nice and flat, and things like that. But since that's a Bella Grace, that helps our situation a whole lot. So I know that this is just a little bit too long, but not so much that it's going to really affect all of this right here. So now let's alter this bad boy. And this here, this came from, let me get things moved around a bit. This image came from this book here, and this is one that I picked up at Five Below a few months ago. I don't know how long ago it's been, but it's been a little while. Not forever ago. They might still have it. But I picked this up for $5. So that was a good find. And there we go. I'm going to maybe zoom you in just a little bit. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here, like I said, this is already really wobbly right there, and that's kind of a good place to just naturally cut these. Where's my knife? So I'm going to do this. And this one is connected here, this leaf right there goes underneath this leaf, so I'm going to cut it right there. And I'm going to make this work for me. Since these pretty much, you know, go up straight, it works. It works perfectly. Alright, so I'm just going to hopefully not glue these on the wrong. I can see myself like cutting this and then not thinking this through all the way and putting them right back where they were. So that's going to go there. And this one's going to go right there. Alright, so let's see, I'm gonna get some glue. I need a little strip of paper. This is just out of my little trash basket that I've got. Put a little bit of glue on here. I'm going to overlap it just a little bit. But mainly this is going to be held together by a little paper band-aid that I'm going to make. This might stay together as is, but just in case, I feel better about gluing this down since what I'm doing is going to be lots of weaving with all these different elements around with each other. I think it'd be better if I reinforced it a little bit anyway. And I will show you the glue that I've been using here in a second. Let me get this one down. I used to do all of this with just a glue stick as far as all of this intricate gluing down of things. And as the things that I did got more and more involved and delicate, it was getting just to be really, really hard and stressful when it came to just putting everything together. So I ended up going to Michael's and looking around, and I came across these little bottles, and I'm pretty sure they're Tim Holtz, and I thought that that would be absolutely perfect since it's got the fine little point on them. And as far as the glue goes, I had several different options, and I ended up getting the one that I got the most glue for the money. So that was, I knew that I'd be using it a lot, and so I got the one that gave me the most amount of glue for, you know, that was the most cost efficient for me. But this is the little bottle. I think they came in a pack of 3 or 4. So I've got a couple of them. I just keep them in my little basket that's on my work area on the side. And this is the glue that I've been using. And it is working really well. It does dry clear, and I have noticed, I just did a project not long ago that's framed, and it is shiny, like any places where the glue went outside the edge of what was being glued down. I could see little shiny spots, but that was just me like looking at it so closely with, you know, practically magnifying glass eyes trying to find every fault in what I had done. So it wasn't a huge deal, but it does dry clear, but it is shiny, but it dries pretty quickly, and so far what I have seen is it holds bond is very, very well. So I've been really happy with this. I'm not sure how much it was. I think it was over $8. It might have been over 10, but I'm very happy with it. So, been using it a lot that way. So there we go. Nobody would ever know that this looked differently. So that, for what I'm wanting, I think it's going to be a whole lot better, because now the long side is going to be on the outside of this image instead of being on the inside. So very, very small adjustment, but for me, with my eye and the way that I look at it and the way that I watch it kind of flow around and travel, I like it better with longer on the outside. So now, I think the first thing that I need to figure out is where to put this rose. So let's see here. I'm going to lay all this out first and look at what we've got. So these are all the different pieces. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to take a moment there and look at what I had going on and just kind of make sure that that was where I'm wanting to go, and I think I am ready to start figuring this out. So it'd probably be best if I work on this blue so that you can see better. There we go. And I think the first thing I'm going to put down is this rose. I know that I liked having it tucked behind this petal here. Let's see. Oops. This is going to be pretty interesting putting together because it's got a lot of parts here. My tweezers have so much glue and gunk on them that a lot of times I don't want to. They're helping me out less sometimes than more. And I'm not going to glue those down yet because I'm going to put the watch there. Do I want all the leaves on front of it or half and half? As far as this one goes, I'm looking at the bottom here because here's this stem, and I'm just kind of lining the stem up for this rose with that stem there. Don't know if I want all of these leaves to go over this or not. Let's see if I can do this. I'm trying to hold it together and move things around at the same time and be careful. Because they're wanting to grab onto each other. I kind of like that, how it's all woven together. I could probably, if I really wanted to, I don't know, I think I like these big leaves being in front. I was going to, I have an option of trimming that right there, and then I could weave this little stem. Trimming it's not going to affect anything whether I do it or not, so I'll just show you so you can see what I'm thinking about. So we'll see if it works. Hopefully I won't pull these leaves off of this big one because this is getting fussy. There. So I could have it like that. Also, I could even, if I wanted to, I could really weave these together. Weave these in and out of each other. There. Maybe we will do that. I like having the big ones on top. I don't know if I like that. I think I like it just like that. I think I might like the clock being totally under also. I'm not sure. Sometimes it helps me see it different by actually looking up and seeing what it looks like on the camera. It gives me a different perspective of it. I don't know. I know that's just like one really small, silly thing, but I think I kind of like it like that. Alright, so there's there's that. Now let's see here. I don't know if I should glue all this down and then try to weave this in around. And since I am going to be weaving it around inside and out, I do have the option of cutting this into parts. So like I know that this is going to kind of stop there. I could cut this right here, and that would kind of extend this even more, give me this little bit. I'd be able to use this that's behind it instead of it being covered up, so that would make this go a little bit farther. And it also just makes it a little bit easier to work with. I guess the first thing I need to decide is, I'm half tempted to glue that right there so that it stays, because that's not going to affect anything, I don't think. Oh, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? I guess I need to see if what it looks like wrapped the other way. Do I want the big loop at the top or the bottom? That might look nicer by whenever I trim that. That would give me more to where it would actually probably kind of go like that. I think I might do it this way. And then this, since this is kind of looped more, it's kind of like it's holding on. It's kind of hooked on there. Yeah, because then I can snake that through right there, through these spots. So, do I want it to go behind the rose, or do I want it to go behind the watch? That's a question here. Or will it even be noticeable? Like which one it's going behind? I guess it will, yeah. Well, either way, I know that I think I'm going to go ahead and trim this. Right there. All right. Okay. I think I'm kind of liking that. The other option, well, I could have it more over here, but let's see what it would look like behind the rose. Then I'm gonna start gluing stuff down, I think. If I glue it behind the rose, then I can pull this out even further. Which, what I might do, because just the way this is bending, it's not necessarily working with the flow of how it would maybe look. Well, you know what? I wonder. Let's see what that looks like. That might curve up more around her, and I might really like how that looks. So let's see if we can migrate this over from one side to the other without doing too terribly much. Which I need to put it on here anyway because I have a limited amount of space that I can go up, and here I am trying to make this do all sorts of crazy stuff, and I might be going off the top of the page without paying much attention. So what I'm thinking is about it curling more up around her head here. There. There we go. So all I need to do is weave this around through there, which I think I'm going to go ahead and just glue all of the main pieces down, and I will have this go behind that rose instead of behind the watch, instead of going in between the watch and the rose. All right, so let's see here. But I can, if I wanted to, I could trim this again and make that even longer. I could trim it and add it to this other end if I wanted to. Okay, so I need to move this over because I don't want to glue on top of my image because I don't want to get anything on her. And I think I might put a piece of paper down. Okay, there's glue on my tweezers here and sticking on stuff. Okay, so and I'm just working on a piece of tracing paper. It's just what I have around. I think this is tracing paper, or it might be a piece of parchment paper actually, but it just keeps glue from getting all over my work area and things like that. I'm going to put this clock down first. I will probably go quiet when I'm doing this because I'm in my mind. I've got about 20 different things going on in my head as far as like, okay, what should I do next? What part should I do next? Which, you know, what's going where? I think I do want to do this stem here because that will keep things from shifting so much. I've got this old t-shirt, old cotton t-shirt bit. I'm just dabbing up some of that glue because I know adhesive just went through some of those little spots. I like how that's like that. Part of it's covered and part of it's not. So let's do this a little bit. And whenever I use that little towel, I'm not rubbing, I'm just patting it because there's all these layers, all these little edges that are cut, and that towel could very easily snag on one of the edges of paper, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm just going to pat it. that bit. This is some pretty advanced gluing, I know, and not everything is like this. Sometimes it's easy to just, you know, put glue on the whole image and glue it down, but since I like having things woven in and out and whatnot, it calls for some just doing it like this. I'm just kind of trying to eye it on what parts of this upper image is actually touching what's underneath, because I don't want to put glue all over this leaf. Oh goodness, I don't want to put glue all over this leaf because, you know, only part of it actually has something attached to it from above. Alright, I think that might pretty much be it. Okay, so there we are so far. Now, just got to figure out how I want to weave all this in and out. So that goes under. Alright, let's see here. Over, under, wait, I want this to, you know, maybe it might help me if I do this backwards. Because I'm having a hard time visualizing that. To make sure that it ended going under. And that naturally wants to go over there. I'm just kind of weaving it through where the curve is allowing it to go. Kind kind of feel like I would like more of it on top there though. Oh, I got it twisted. There we go. I can actually trim this little leaf, so give me a little bit more space to whittle it around. There. There we go. When I start gluing it down, I'm going to have to make sure that I've got everything nice and flat, but for the most part, I'd say that's going to work. It's going to take a little bit of fiddling around with. And maybe a little trim here. There, that helped. All right, so there's part of it. I might go ahead and tack that down. So that it doesn't get pulled out. There's a leaf there. Maybe we should pull that one through. There we go. That looks good. That was just kind of stuck back in the back. Put it toward the front. That there. Pull that one. There we go. this isn't glued down all the way. That would be nice having that under there a little bit. I think I can make it work. That looks better. Alright, I think that's all for that part. So, this part though, I'm going to need to bring my girl out for a second. Alright. So now I want it to go in front of that. And that piece is a whole lot easier to put down than the first one. So let's see, decide how I want to weave this through the buds here. There. Okay, I think that's good. I'm not going to mess with that one anymore because I think that's perfect where it's at. Get this back side put down. I'm just going to very gently squeeze a little line of glue underneath here. I got glue on there. Maybe I didn't. I was being so gentle it didn't happen. There we go. Alright. Let's get this off of here before I accidentally stick her on. Probably should have taken that off before I did all that. That was lucky. I think I only got a little bit of glue right there, so thank goodness it dries clear, and it'll probably be covered up with all of this that we just made. So, alright, look at that. I'm really happy with that. I think it's all pretty much adhered down. Alright. Alright, so now we just need to adhere that onto our page. And actually, keep that beside me because I'll put the glue on the back and I'm just going to lift it and bring it over here. And I think we'll do something about like that. It's down off the edge just a little bit. I don't know if I can zoom you out anymore or not. Here we go. That is helpful for you to see better. Okay. Alright, well, I'm just going to go for it. So I think what I'm going to do, and I'm going to have to be quick so that, because since I'm going to be putting the adhesive so lightly on some of these areas, I think I'll do this part and then I can lift this part up very carefully and add it. I'm just going to go for it. So I don't want to mess with it a lot. As soon as I start adding adhesive on it, the adhesive starts soaking into the paper and it can make it even more delicate, especially where I've got these really thin pieces. I think what I'm going to do here is make sure I get the big areas down and I can go along through it if I want to and lift up any of these edges that I want to make sure get glued down. But since this is going to be safe in my journal, it's not like it's going to be out and, you know, messed with a lot. So I'm not totally concerned about having every little bit of it adhered down. I might go ahead and try to do this since I've got it going. Okay, I think that's probably more than plenty. I know it's going to go off the edge here a little bit. That's okay. This guy. Make sure that it's not buckling anywhere since I've got these really thin stems on the flowers. I want to make sure that they're flat and not buckled out at all because that can happen easily. Okay. There we go. Trim this one off. I'm going to save that. I will not throw that away. If I wanted to, I could probably fit it in somewhere over here. Put that in my little basket. I don't think I'm going to trim these off the bottom. I might just leave them. I do have some pages in my journal where the things extend a little bit. There's a few. So I don't mind if it's hanging off there just a little bit. And let's see. So now we're ready to put this page in, because I can go ahead and put this page in. So I think I will use that scrap. And once again, I am working in this big curve here with the way that this page, these back pages curve around. So I'm going to put this here so that I do not get any adhesive on the pages behind it. And for this, I'm going to use a glue stick. I need to get another piece of tracing paper here. Just got these old pads that somebody given me years ago. They work really well for this purpose. So okay. First thing I want to put down is this. And I always like putting glue down on both. I'm really having to like press it in there to make sure that I'm getting in that bend. And I need to be careful because my journals actually come apart. One of the signature, one of the threads broke. So this last signature is actually loose. So that's kind of, I've got to be a little careful. But I put glue on both things. I put it in my journal, and then I also put it on the piece that I'm putting down. Make sure that I get it smooth, nice and flat. I've got that little itty bitty spot right down there. I just might put a piece of washi there because I'm not gonna, I'll put this little bit of green. That'll work. If I can get these open. My washi tape is so old that half of it is just dried up and all stuck together, and I need to throw away probably about 90% of it. I don't hardly use it. It's nice to have on hand for things like this, but and I am putting glue on both the back of the washi tape and in my journal. Cover that little spot there. That's probably more noticeable with me putting that there than it was without anything there, but that's okay. Not much of it's really going to be showing, so. And I don't have any purple, believe it or not. I don't have any purple washi tape. I could probably tuck it underneath this piece of paper, and then there'd be even less of it showing. There we go. Okay. So now, to put the page down, I'm going to cover the back completely with glue. My glue stick. Go over that edge just a little bit and make sure that I get the edges really well. And then I'm going to do the same on the back of my magazine page. Make sure that I get the edges really, really well. And then just kind of fill in the middle. And this is the way that I've been doing this since I started doing collage in, well, 2014. This is how I've always adhered my pages down, and so far everything's always stayed well. I'll go around the edge again, even though it's still very wet. Pick this up. With this one, I'm going to start over here in the corner. Make sure that I get my edges evened up. Make sure the top is pretty well. And this is a lot easier, once again, since it's this Bella Grace magazine page. If this was a thin magazine page, it is a whole lot more difficult to work with. It's easier for the image to get wrinkles in it. When you try to lift it to maybe move it and move the wrinkle out, a lot of times, sometimes the ink on the image can get a bad wrinkle in it and things like that. So these Bella Grace pages are really, really nice to work with. And I am just going around and making sure it's just all pressed down where I have my nice collage piece on here. I'm just going to press, because once again, if I rub on this, it's going to snag on all these little points of the leaves, and it could ruin it, and that would be a bummer. So there we go. Sometimes I place something heavy over this until it dries well, just to help it dry flat also. And I might do that. But see, here's some underneath that I'm going to have to trim, because since I lined it up totally across the top, I knew that I was going to have, I cut this a little bit longer just in case I did not get this centered on here well. It would be, I'd have some wiggle room with it to where I didn't have to try really, really, really hard to make sure it was even across the top. But since it's this Bella Grace image, they are so much easier to put down than a really thin one. So I'm just going to protect what's underneath there. And actually, I think that's it. I don't have any words for this. I don't know what this wants to say. I don't know if it wants to say anything at all. I don't know if it needs to say anything at all. And so I'm just going to leave it for now as it is and just kind of work on the other pages. And if something kind of comes up for it, then I will put something on there. But right now, this one will go here. And that's how this is going to look side by side, which I think that's going to look nice. And, that little bit there works well with everything. And then, up next, where did I place them? Up next, I will work on these, and this video will probably take, for me to work on these, it's gonna be a long video. I warn you now, because I will be working on both of these together, since they are joined together. And as I was showing this stuff last night, one of my butterflies dropped on my floor, and I can't find it. I heard it hit the floor, but for the life of me, I don't see it anywhere. So, I don't know if I have another one or not, which is really silly. I don't know how I can't see it. But anyways, hopefully I have another one. But these two are going to be like this. And these are so... Oh, it looks like that. Did that break off somewhere? I don't know if that was connected up here. This one is starting to not like the fact that I keep on doing this, that I keep on laying it on here to see how it wants to be. These are so thin, super, super, super thin. But this is where this is going to go. So as I work on these 2 pages, I will do them at the same time. I don't think it will take me long. There's that flower that I had left over that tried to be on this other page. I don't think that it will take me long because I've got the hard part done, which was figuring out what to put on here and just all the extras and things like that. But since I've got it all planned already, I don't think it will take me very long. It's just going to be a matter of figuring out how to place these things over here and make this watch work, since I don't have that much space over here anymore. But I had another one of these that I had up here that was smaller. But for sure, I'm going to add this little purple flower because I had cut it out originally to go on her crown, and it didn't work, but it matches my girl here, so I'm going to place it on that page. But after I get this page glued down and know where it needs to be, which most likely it's going to be high up here so that this vine reaches it, then I will be able to place this page down. So that's why I have not glued this one down yet. So that is where we're at. And honestly, I have a feeling, since I've just gotten going on these, that I'm probably going to go ahead and immediately start working on this one and get it done tonight. It's New Year's Eve, and I'm in for the night. It's only 2:30 right now. It's 2:30 right now, so I've got plenty of time to work on this one, and then that'll be it. Then this journal will be completely finished. So I'm excited about it and excited to get it done. So I have a feeling that I will, and I'm struggling because I've got a lot of pages that I had started, and as I was working on the previous video where I made this page, as I was working on it, I found two separate videos where I had started working on 2 pages in my Nomad book. And so I'm finding these projects that I had begun and started working on to share with you all, and you know, whenever I just kind of slipped down into my dry spell, I'd never finished them, and I honestly had forgotten all about them. So I'm feeling a little overwhelmed in all of the things that I have to share, and then I'm wanting to share, and then I need to finish, that I don't, like, my head's spinning a little bit, because it's like, well, I could start on this, but it's like, well, but I've got those other things that I can do too, but I really want to finish this, but it's like, oh, well, I'd really like to also work in that book, and I've already got that started, and it's silly. It's crazy how you can go from just there being nothing there, no desire whatsoever to work on anything, and then all of a sudden it just all kind of starts flooding out again. So that's where I'm at, but I really think I'm probably going to start on this like right now. So okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this. I really am happy with how this page turned out here. Let me get this out of the way. And especially since it was the last in the 4, and I had ideas for the first 3 that were so strong already, and this one I just had an image that has just kind of been sitting around, and it's like, oh well, I think I'll probably put that one on this page, I'm not sure. And look what it decided to turn into without you know, just little bit by bit, by just letting me slowly go through and just gradually find things for it and add things to it. And I might later kind of go through this really carefully and see if there's just anything that needs to be put down. But I think that pretty much everything that needs to be adhered down is adhered down. So I'll go ahead and glue that down, even though I know some of it's going to get cut off. And this is just kind of being silly and nitpicking stuff, because like I said, this is going to be safe in my journal. My journal is closed, and you know, it's not out and open, and I wonder if I can wiggle that through there. I don't know if that bit of the necklace is adhered down or not. Just one more little piece where I can there we go. I need to be careful because this paper is actually very wet. The page in my journal is quite wet now from that glue stick. Glue sticks have a lot more liquid in them than you would think. So I can tell by feeling it that it's cool. It's kind of cool to the touch, and that the paper is wet. It's soaked. It's soaked through with glue. So, all right, I'm going to stop messing with this and get things kind of tidied up, because I always like, even if I'm going to be working in the exact same book with all the exact same tools, I'm really silly about tidying up my space completely before I start on something new. I don't do very well with visual clutter beside me and around me. It's very distracting, so I always tidy up. So all right, well, I hope that you enjoyed this. I am so very happy that you're here. Please let me know what you think, how you're doing, if you have any plans for the new year. I've got lots, and that's a whole other thing to talk about, and I might share with you later kind of how things have been and what's going on and things like that. But my voice is starting to go, and I need to go get a drink. So thank you again. Please, you know, all the same old things. Please like, please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. It helps me out a lot to let me know that you're here. And take care and be safe. And I love you all so very much. And thank you so very much for being here with me as I work on these last few pages in this journal that's very special to me. So take care, everybody. I love you so much, and I will talk to you again really soon. Bye-bye.